it seems there were 3 dates that were written, 3 dates that were written to execute something. And then I saw them arguing about a particular date. So in the near future, there might be a very serious controversy over a particular date. Not only a particular date, but also a particular place. A particular date and a particular place.
Zico is a journalist. He comments on doctrinal matters. Whatever gives Zico $1 is what he will publish. At best, he's a journalist. He's a journalist. 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 Journalist.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, thank you for joining me today here on your favorite channel of choice, Zico. And I've bearing some quite pleasant news. And I say finally, and this is the final time that I'm saying finally, because finally, Dr. Pastor Ndlovu, the prophet, has delivered a prophecy that is concerning our nation, Zimbabwe. All other prophecies are released. They were not quote-unquote capital letter prophecies of significance to Zimbabwe. As much or much relevant or angangori maprofesi mamwe ayamaziva nemamwe ekunzeze nyika o chichichichi but ane chekuita chaizvizvo neZimbabwe anenge angaita law mbijana. And a lot of people are now starting to say maybe it's the gift that he received from say Wicknel yakumublinda oro yakuita kuti vakada kuprofita obva wafunga kuti hey ndine land cruiser nemota yamadhamu ne100,000 yandakapiwa saka zvonetswa ndichiprofita about Zimbabwe because usually a gift ukapiwa gift iwo unofanira tanga watofunga usati wataura gift unonakidza kutambira but after watambira unofanira kuzofunga usati wataura. It's just something normal. Even usina kunzi usataure zvakati kana usaite zvakati ukapiwa chipo unofanira kuzofunga usati wataura. That is just a normal procedure. Andikatopiwa chipo izvezvi munotoonawo kana zvandotaura zvichatochinja futi. Ndinenge ndakutanga ndafunga. Think before you talk. Dr. Pastor Ndlovu has got a prophecy that we are going to react to right now. And it talks specifically about a date and a time. We are going to interpret at the end what I think could be the meaning of that prophecy. But always remember that my interpretation is based on speculation, on rumor, on hearsay, on zvandirongofungawo. It's not something that you can bank on, but I can bank on your interpretation. I'm sure some comment section. So if you watch this video and you feel like you have got an interpretation, kindly type it in the comment section. Varudama sola manyama. Contact logo solar take on the numbers that are showing on the screen. They will do anything that is going to do with my solar installation, my security system, my CCTV camera, my boho, whatever you can think of that is solar. Contact logo solar take. These are the guys that I trust, the guys that I recommend, the guys who are reliable. Contact them on the numbers that are showing on the screen. And let us get into the video.
Last night when I was praying, there is a message that I was reminded by the Holy Spirit, which I spoke in the past, pertaining to our nation. And this message is linked to messages that have spoken in the past. But I won't allude. I wanted to speak the message in parables. But the Holy Spirit says, there are very few people who are able to interpret parables. There is a message which I released recently about this country. But most people, they didn't realize that I was even talking about this country because I didn't mention any country. I just said this country in the message. And we thought people would understand. So, yesterday, I had a visitation of an encounter with the Holy Spirit. And in this encounter, I saw elderly men and a few elderly women seated. Now, two people, they brought files. to them. When they brought fines, it seems there were 3 dates that were written, 3 dates that were written to execute something. And then I saw them arguing about a particular date. So in the near future, there might be a very serious controversy over a particular date. Not only a particular date, but also a particular place. A particular date and a particular place. There may be a convocation whose date and place may be changed on short notice in the near future. So I saw, some of the elders in that, they were seated around a bonfire. It was unlike the earlier visions which I've seen, where it will be just men. I saw a few women. The women were fewer than men. There were more men, maybe by a ratio of 8 to 2. Like for every 8 men, there will be 2 women. That was the ratio that I saw in that vision. They were discussing. Some were saying this, some were saying that. And the majority, they were settling on a particular date, but they were divided. There was no consensus. So there is a certain meeting which may create divisions at the highest levels of our society. There is a certain convocation or meeting. We must pray for God to bring about consensus, because it may disturb our peace. Are we clear, my brothers and sisters? Yes, I wanted to speak the message in parables, but people speculate a lot when we speak parables. So I have to just speak what I saw openly. So the first message, it's a controversy over a time and a place. There is a certain meeting. The majority of the people, they will agree that this meeting or convocation has to be held at such a time and at such a place. But there are some circumstances which may intervene if the intercessors are just, because most intercessors for this nation are now tired. They don't know whether as a nation we are going forward or are going backwards or we are not moving. But the Holy Spirit is saying we are going forward. There is a certain meeting which is being planned at the highest levels. I've not talked to anyone at the highest levels. It's something which the Holy Spirit has shown me. But those who are at the highest levels, they know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it means you are not at those levels. If we slumber as intercessors, the controversy will be so highly publicized, and it will show us a fissure at the very top. There will be very serious disagreement at the very, very top, or near the very, very top. Now, if there can be a controversy over a date and a place, just imagine the controversy over the agenda. If people can have a controversy over a date and a place, it means the agenda, it will be something else.
Firstly, I'm very happy that God instructed Dr. Ndlovu to stop using parables, because parables anenge achitivhara isusu kutanga kuudzwa kuti the lion, the eagle, the falcon, the leviathan, tichitoteerera prophecy yacho tentato more confused than what we were before we heard the prophecy. So if we cannot understand the prophecy in plain language, there's no reason why we should get it, because we have got ears. We have got ears, but we don't hear. We have got eyes, but we don't see. So that is very plain. And I'm very happy that God instructed him to start using plain language. But the plain language is not so plain, because we still need to interpret. The issue is about a date and place. Of course, the place I don't know. I don't have an idea about the place, but I can try to interpret about the time. Remember, he's talking about decisions which have got to be made by the higher powers. And usually, that's not my higher powers. It's not the cabinet. That's not my higher powers. Usually, it's not the Politburo. That's not my higher powers. No, my powers are high. It's just as simple as that. My powers are high. That is why you see it talks about more men and less women to the ratio of 8:2. Panonyaso decide chaipo vakadzi havabatike. Paya panonzi tiri kuda gender equality, tiri kuda 50-50 muparliament because power does not reside in parliament. Pamunoti toda vakadzi in cabinet. It's cabinet because power does not reside in cabinet. But panodicidwa power chaipo vakadzi havabatike. Ndosaka muri kuona pakuti vakadzi vanenge vari vashoma. And I believe somewhere there kune madecision atoitwa ekuti we are not privy, we are not knowledgeable, we will never know. And there are people who are called my king makers. And this is common in South Africa, common in UK, common in America, common in the world over. Kuna anonzi my king makers, and those are the people who decide the course that a nation, that a continent or the world should take. And I believe, or I interpret this to mean kuti my king makers, or these king makers, they've got influence in 3 specific dates which I choose. And the first one will be the ZANU-PF Congress. ZANU-PF Congress yatichakwanisa kupinda tichiona kuti vari kuti kudii. Yetitoro like it, the ZANU-PF Congress will determine the course of the country, and the kingmakers will influence the outcome of ZANU-PF Congress because ndo panoitwa resolution on who is going to lead the country. And after that, the second date is the 2028 election, though another date of contention, and after that is the 2030. The 2030 is a year, but a year is a date because a date is a point in time, a point in time. And more on. So 2030 it's actually a date. So ZANU-PF Congress, 2020 election, 2028 election, and also the 2030 question. These are the 3 dates that I believe that there will be controversy. But I'm going to controversy surrounding controversy. So that is my interpretation. And if you can interpret otherwise, kindly comment in the comment section and tell me what you think.